Danesh and Mr. Jayalal, we are ready to start. Are you both okay? Start?
Yes, yes, we are ready. I am ready.
Yeah, I'm ready to.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Jayalal. Okay, thank you all. So, good afternoon to everybody. Everyone. I'm Tanuja Arinanda, CEO of Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum, and welcome to all of you for this very exciting event of Rain Talk, where we have a series of rain talks we had so far. Mostly, we started actually physically, but then we had to change to virtual. So we are continuing with the virtual event, and today we have a very good two presentations from two professionals. Most of us we promote rainwater harvesting, we talk about rainwater harvesting, we advocate rainwater harvesting, but how many of us actually practice rainwater harvesting? We always think this is something which with the people to people who are in the rural areas who doesn't have water supply, or it's to a certain category of communities who are at as low income level. That should not be the case. Rain is a free given gift from the God, and it's something we are wasting a lot. 65% of the rainfall that falls onto our island, it still goes off as runoff to the sea, and still we are paying huge cost for water, for delivery, water bills, pumping, so which is draining on our economy. But these two presenters today has taken the initiative to actually show and practice rainwater harvesting. So I'm very proud to introduce both our presenters. I'll start with one first, and he will present, and then we'll continue with the others as well. So may I first introduce Mr. Jayalal Vijayasekara. He's a senior technical consultant at CGI, a Canadian-based information systems development and integration company. Although Mr. Jayalal is now retired since 2019, he has worked extensively in different countries, in Canada, USA, Europe, upgrading these IT systems. And prior to that, he's to employment of CGI. He was independent consultant supporting information system for many companies in Greater Colombo, Ontario, Canada. So Mr. Jayalal is now based in Sri Lanka, I believe, in the southern part. So over to you, Mr. Jayalal, to present your experience. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tanuja. Can you hear me all?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. Good evening to all. My name is Jayalal Vijayasekara. I'm here to share my experience with the rainwater harvesting project at Aludkedaravata Medenia. I come from an IT background, as Dr. Tanuja just briefed. And I have lived most of my life and lived and worked overseas. And now I'm retired in Sri Lanka, trying to learn and practice meditation and a little bit of spiritual development. When I started this project, I had no knowledge of rainwater harvesting. I didn't know what water was. I just opened the tap. If there was water, I was happy, and I was that's all I knew about water. So this all started when I was looking for a property, a retirement home, and I was looking for a property with sufficient mature trees, a house, water, electricity, a quiet area with fertile soil.
And Mr. Jayalal,
yes.
excuse me, would you like us to share your presentation while you're talking?
Okay,
we
maybe
can't
it was sharing.
Jayalal.
Okay, so maybe I need to go and share screen, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Can you see it now?
Just put it on the presentation mode, then it should be fine.
Okay. Can you see it now?
We can see the slides, but if you can go to the presentation mode, that would be better. But if otherwise, just leave it as that.
Presentation mode.
It's on your right-hand side. There should be.
On the right-hand side.
If not, just leave it as is.
Leave it like this.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Start from the beginning. Okay, I'm going to. Yeah, so it all started when I was looking for a retirement home and looking for a property with mature trees and a house, water, electricity, a quiet area, fertile soil, and so on and so forth. So with a lot of search, I finally found this place in Kudagoda. It was called Rainwater. It's closer to from the highway when you take the Angunukula Palace exit. It's between Talava and Middenia. It's in the Hambantota district, so it's dry zone. But I thought, okay, this property would do serve the purpose. So when I was talking to the owners and I asked them, do they have water? Yes, there is water. There's mainline water, and there's a tube well. So like I said, my knowledge of water was very minimal. So I thought, okay, there's mainline water. It's the same like in Colombo. There's water. That's all I knew. And there was electricity, and the roadway was good. Everything was good. So I decided to buy the property, went through the process and bought the property. Now, after buying it and went to, start doing the renovations and cleaning up the land, I realized this water was really not really usable. It was so high in chlorine, and also it was salty. There's the cooler. So I couldn't drink it. Even if you bathe, like you feel the body is all sticky with the heavy water. So I was in a bit of a situation where there is water, mainline water is there, but I really can't use it. I can't use it for drinking. It smells bad and it tastes bad. So that was a bit of a situation. So then I thought, okay, they said there's a tube well, so let's try the tube well and started testing the tube well. There was water for about 15 minutes and that's it. There was no more water. Even that water that came out was useless. It's also the same kind of quality with bad odor and taste awful. So gave up on the first tube well. Then the neighborhood, there are other tube wells and there's like normal wells where they have good water. So I thought, okay, maybe I could try the second tube well. So tried another second tube well in the property. Same story. So I had to give up on that also. So 2 tube wells closed and thought, okay, so lime water we cannot use, 2 tube wells useless. So I thought, okay, let's try line filters. The neighborhood, there were places where they were selling water for drinking. And I went and consulted, said, yeah, we have this little filtering system. It filters, and said, okay, how much, where? And I inquired, and yeah, the initial investment is not too bad, but this was during the COVID time and import restrictions. With the kind of water that we were getting from the line, the filters will have to be replaced so frequently, it was not feasible. So I had to give up on that idea too. So now looking for the alternatives, and I didn't know anything until I don't know where it came. I thought, what about rainwater? Nobody mentioned this, but it just struck my mind. But I'm having all these questions. can I really use rainwater? How can I collect it? Where do I collect it? What's the process? Is this water going to be good for drinking? Is the water good for bathing? And I didn't know anything about it. So many questions, but no answers. So then I did a Google search, and I found Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. And I was very lucky to find that site, and I got the email, and I sent an email, and Dr. Tanuja responded very quickly with a very positive and encouraging response, saying, yeah, you could do this. And so I had many questions. So the main questions were, these are very common to you all. I guess the audience, you probably know this already, but for me, this is all foreign, whether this is good for bathing, it is good for laundry, can I use it? I didn't know. Can I drink this water? And how long can you store this water in a tank? These were all questions that I had no idea, and all these questions were answered. Thank you very much to the forum. And also, will I be able to collect enough water with the roof space and with the rain capacity, rainfall in that area, which is a dry zone? You get this heavy rain period, and then there's the dry zone, like no rain for a long period. So is this feasible? So that question was also, actually, I got this, there was another Excel document which I couldn't find it, but this pretty much gave the answer to that question, where with a 5,000 liter tank.
So Jalal, if you can go through the slides, then it can show you the rest of the slides. Or we can do the
Can you
slide.
see the slide?
No, we can only see the first slide, Mr.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are you, you are...
Will you stop slide sharing? Then we will do the presentation from this side.
Okay. Okay,
Chanchara?
sharing. Okay, so we need to go down to... Yeah, it's important that, so you have to go further down. Can I browse? Can I control
Yeah,
this?
no, Chanchala, can you go down? Yeah,
Okay, further down. Next.
Further down.
Further down. Rainwater, many questions. Okay, these were the questions. Okay. And the next. Next slide.
Further down, Chanchala.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the document I received from the forum with the 5,000 liter tank and with the 80 square meter roof, how much of water I was able to collect. So now this is with only 5,000 liter tank, and this is not the full. This is just the main roof. So the amount of water that could be collected, I'll have a shortage in months of February, July, and August. Next slide, please. Okay, so my estimated requirement was 250 liters for a day. I think that's a little too much, but that was what I thought I'll be able to manage. And then with a 5,000 liter tank with an 80 square meter, 160 liters was possible, except February, July, and August. So I thought, okay, if I put a 10,000 liter tank and use the other areas, the patio area and the warehouse area to collect water, I should be able to gather enough water and get over the shortage month of February, July, and August also. And next slide, please. Okay, so the catchment areas total is the main roof. I actually have 88 square meters, and patio is 21 square meters, and the warehouse 35. So this total of 144 square meters. So with that amount of catchment and increase in the tank size, I thought, okay, I was able to achieve my goal. Next slide, please. So this is what I have implemented right now. I have the main roof and the gutters are flowing this way on both sides. And the water is collected into the 10,000 liter tank. And there's an overhead tank. This water is pumped into the overhead tank. And from there only I get the water to the house. The patio, the gutters are all lined up to collect on this one end. The warehouse, the gutters are collected to collect on one side. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the 10,000 liter tank in place, which is doing a great job, and fully satisfied with that. Next slide, please. And here's the collection line from the two gutters going like this on the two ends. Next slide, please. So this is one end. Great work done by ICC plumbing work guy. He did a super job, and I'm very pleased. So this is one end of the collection on the pipes. Next slide. And this is the Y joint going back into the tank. Next slide. And here's the line going into the tank. I've just put a long tube I didn't want any water collected at that point because I haven't put the filter or anything like that. That's the one that would go eventually. Okay, next slide, please. And here you can see the metal structure to enforce the plumbing and keep the plumbing in place without, because there's these monkeys and chimpanzees and peacocks in that area. They come and land on this and it could break. So the metal structure was a very helpful thing that they put in. And I'll show you the first flush. This tube line comes for the first flush, which was recommended by the forum, Dr. Tanuja, and it was a great idea, and we did implement that. Next slide, please. So here's the end cap. So before the first rain, we remove this and let the first rain go through, so it gets a nice flush. And then we put the cap back on and the water will get started collecting. Next slide, please. So here's the filter. Again, great idea by the forum, Dr. Tanuja. This is about 3 feet high, I think, a little more maybe. So where the holes are, that area is covered with these rocks. And I don't have a picture from there to about 3/4 or a little above that. It was filled with charcoal. And then placed on top of the tank. Next slide, please. So here's the placement of the filter on top of it. It fitted in perfectly to the opening of the tank, and you can see a mesh. So all the debris from the line coming in, it will get filtered here, and it need to be cleaned regularly. Next slide, please. Here's the overhead tank and the water pump. So this overhead tank is about 3,000 liters. There's a sensor there. When the water level comes down, the pump starts working and fills the tank. And that's the one that I use for the house. And there's also a sensor in the main 10,000 liter tank. If the water level is too low, it will not work. The pump will not work because we don't want the pump to go away without any water. So a nice job done by an electrician in the area. Next slide, please. So some of the challenges, the main challenge was getting the gutters lined up because the roofs are never straight and it's not flowing one way. So getting the roof, the gutters to flow only to one side was a real challenge. I got to literally lift the roof on one side of the one side and put some blocks to keep the flow going down the other way. And bringing the 10,000 liter tank to the site was another challenge because it's huge. The truck that brought the the tank, they couldn't come up. So try to put it, actually, we could have carried it because it's not very heavy, but we struggle with it a little bit. And another problem that we still have is the water pressure, because the tank, the 30,000 liter tank is still on top of the roof, which is not giving enough pressure to the house. So water pressure is too low. It will be mitigated in the future. Next slide, please. So the successes, the 10,000 liter tank gets filled in 3 hours or less. Actually, one heavy rain, 2 hours, the tank got filled. I was so surprised, and I was excited to see the water overflowing after 2 hours. It's like, wow, this tank got filled in 2 hours. A little over 2 hours, the tank was filled. So I got this comfort level that, this water is going to be more than enough for my usage. I was so excited. So I knew that water is going to be, I have enough water with the amount of rain that I'm getting. I'll have enough water for the house. And the water that is there in the tank now, it's been 1 year or more, a year and a half. The water is still good. I'm not using as much as I thought, because I'm not in the estate as much as I thought I'll be. And the water is still good. No bad smell, no bad taste. I still use it, and it's really good. I'm really surprised, excited about the condition of the water. It's really good. And we had the dry period, about 5 months. There was no rain at all, and there was enough water in that tank for me to use it. 10,000 liters, that was enough. Whenever I go there, there's enough for me to drink and do my regular usage at home to have a bath and do whatever I need to do. Next slide, please. So some of the next next projects that I have in mind is to put a 5,000 liter tank to collect the patio water, which will be for gardening, because in the future I'll be using, doing some gardening and grow some vegetables in the property. So that's one section. And the next one is a 5,000 liter tank in the warehouse, and that will be linked with the 10,000 liter tank. And this one, I'm thinking of another 10,000 liter tank, but I don't know whether I'll need it even. But if it is needed, I'll use it. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it like that. If needed, I know I can put another 10,000 liter tank, which will come 25,000 liters of water collected. I think that's more than enough. And to mitigate the problem with the water pressure, I'm going to put a 15 feet high tower and keep a 3,000 liter tank, which should give me enough water pressure in the house. So that will be another phase. Do it very gradually, one by one. Next slide, please. So this is what it will look like after completing all those projects. The patio, the plumbing, the gutters are all lined up. So it's a matter of putting a line to connect to the 5,000 liter tank. The warehouse, another 5,000 liter tank, and it will get connected with the 10,000 liter tank. If needed, probably will have to push this 10,000 liter tank back and put a new one, because there's no way I can lift and put a tank at the back. So I have to move this to the back and get a new tank and push it into this place here. So that's what I have in mind to do in the future, which will be done very gradually. But for now, I have everything that I need, and I'm very pleased with what I have achieved, thanks to the Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. Next slide, please. And thank you very much again to the Rainwater Harvesting Forum, Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. If not for you, I wouldn't have had the knowledge, the know-how, the courage. All these questions would be answered. So the success, I share it with you, Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. Thank you very much. And anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vijayasekara. That's beautiful presented your experience, and we are very glad we have support to you and anybody else who will also wish to. I will not open up. There are a few questions that been asked, so I will ask only a couple of them. Immediate one, then we will at the discussion we can take on more questions. Just bear with me. Mainly about the cost. Can you share with us what's the cost of your system? How much did you spend for the whole
I
system?
didn't do any fully costing. The tank was, I think, the most expensive. It was almost
Yes.
3 lakhs, 2.75. And thanks to you, actually, I got with your word to the Anton, they gave a special discount, dealer discount.
Right.
And even for the plumbing, they did that. And they were very helpful, actually. They came on site and checked it and helped all the way through. The main cost was the tank and the plumbing, the tubes. The main tank was 2.70 lakh, 60 or something like that. And then for the plumbing work, probably about 50, 60. And other work is all done by the local workers, so they're very minimal. They come for 2,000 rupees, 3,000
Right.
rupees a day, and they come and have. They like to actually come and work with me. They all have a good. I have a good reputation in the village, so they really like to help me. So they said, "Na na na matya, manga ila udaw karan aap yatala denna kila," and so it worked out very well. Yes. Yeah.
That's very
So
good.
main cost was the tank
Tank.
and the plumbing work, the motor, and those are very minimal. I think I spent more money trying to dig tube wells and trying to get that working. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vijayasekara. I think if I remember, the rainfall is about 1,000 millimeters or little about 1,000.
This is what I
Area.
don't remember. That Excel sheet that you sent me, I couldn't find it. You sent me with the
Okay, right.
rainfall and the calculation where
Yeah,
for a square
in
meter how
Hambantota,
much.
it should be 1,100, 1,200 millimeters annual rainfall, I think.
Right.
So yeah, so
But that I think
rather
those statistics have changed because there's so much more
maybe,
rain now.
maybe
So
yes.
yeah, that's why
The I think the intensity of the rain have increased, so we get high rainfall at a shorter interval.
yes,
So that's, and as you rightly said, we had a long drought last month. So I'm very glad to notice that we managed to have water throughout the drought as well, which not many people didn't have. So it
right.
shows the importance of rainwater harvesting system in those
Absolutely.
circumstances.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. So, Ms. Vijayasekara, so thank you. We will go to the next presentation and go for the discussion afterwards. So let me introduce our second presenter. He is Engineer Danesh Gunathilaka. He is the Deputy General Manager, Swaraj, with the National Water Supply and Drainage Board. He has BSc in Engineering, MSc in Sanitary Engineering, UNESCO from Delft, Netherlands. He is the member of Chartered Institution of Water, Environment and Management from UK, International Water Association and Society of Engineering. So I'm very glad to see water supply board engineer also promoting or using rainwater harvesting. So over to you, Mr. Engineer Gunathilaka, for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tanuja. Good afternoon to everyone. Should I share or do you share the slides?
We can share it if you are comfortable. Is that okay?
Oh, I'll try to share. I'll try to share.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Can you see the slides?
If we can see it, Mr. Anish, yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So, 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 yeah. So my motivation behind the decision to implement a rainwater harvesting system is mainly, as you probably know, Kalutara, we had the salinity intrusion long time back, and it is now settled down to a certain extent since 2023. We had a new intake structure, and because of that, it is now okay. However, when I was, uh, I mean, I have implemented the rainwater harvesting system first tank more than 10 years back because of this salinity intrusion during each dry spell of the year. And then potable water is more or less contaminated with salt water, impacting the plants such as tree fern. So you can see in the picture tree fern. I have several plants in the lawn. This tree fern, it is very sensitive for salt. So therefore, because of that, really I motivated to implement the rainwater harvesting system. And also I am conducting continuous professional development programs on stormwater drainage. So rainwater harvesting is one of the interventions that we could attenuate the flooding, because we can store the water and use it later on, and because of that we are controlling the peak runoff. So because of that also I have uh, motivate to do the rainwater harvesting. And also there is a indirect benefit of controlling the water utility bill, and then develop a user-friendly domestic rainwater harvesting system. So this is one of my main intention. As you know, most of the rainwater harvesting systems that are being implemented in the dry zone areas are aesthetically not pleasing, and also it's very difficult to manage. So therefore, my intention was to develop something, at least at my home level, something user friendly. So then water need and location. Uh, uh, I have using water for non-potable applications, not for drinking, nor for cooking. So my main intention was for water in the garden, vehicle washing, and so on, all non-potable applications up to now. Then I also wanted to do groundwater recharge and avoid ponding during heavy rainfall event, because it's very difficult for me to walk during heavy rainfall with wearing shoes because of the ponding. So my location is Temple Road, Kalutara North, Western Province, Sri Lanka, in front of the Ceylon Electricity Board. My old house is located there. So technical details about the rainwater harvesting system implemented, including components and design considerations. So if I just explain, if I get annual average rainfall of say 2,500 millimeter per year with a 100 square meter roof area, I will be able to get 250, collect about 250 cubic meters per year. So that is a considerable amount. Then also to comply with the UDA drainage regulation 1986, published in the Gazette of Extraordinary number 392/9 and 10th March 1996, and amended on number 2237/54 8 July 2021, and and also one of my intention is not to avoid the breeding of mosquitoes and other flies and species like that. The minimum, as per the gazette notification of the UDA, based on the rainfall pattern, you can see my probably my mouse pointer under domestic, depending on any part of the country. Minimum under the UDA guideline, you have to collect up to 1.5 cubic meter storage is necessary. This is housing, apartment, condominium, commercial, industrial, and so on. So that varies as well. So this is actually the rainwater harvesting to prevent urban flooding. So you can see the first one, when you have vegetated area, the rainfall, you have a very flattened hydrograph. Compared to the urbanized area where infiltration is not very much promoted because of the tarred areas, concrete structures, and so on. So you see a very high peak flooding event, and afterwards there is no rain at all, depending on the rainfall period. So the important thing is you get a very high peak runoff that will create flooding and so on. So this is a little bit of sizing, but I have not used this particular thing, but for the benefit of the, those who have joined the webinar, maybe say, for example, if say the roof area of 171 square meters, and if the rainfall is like October 88 millimeter like that, then you can calculate, multiply by 171 meter square, and this is rainfall in millimeters. So when you divide by 1000, you get 0.088 meter. So then you get the volume of entire volume of rainfall per month in October. Likewise, you get all these things. And next one, you can calculate the cumulative one. You can add up 15 into 21, so you get the 36, like that. 36 into 22.1, you get like that. The total will be total rainfall you can calculate, and you can also calculate 180 divided by 12 months, you get the average consumption like that. So similarly, you can calculate the cumulative rainfall like previously, and also the cumulative demand. Cumulative demand, if you go to the previous one, so you can see the cumulative one is here, and this is the cumulative demand, and the difference also, sorry, I think, so this is the cumulative rainfall, then the based on the total utilization. So this is the average consumption or the utilization. So when you add these things, you can get the overall cumulative usage. So this is the cumulative usage, and when you plot it, so you can see the deficit, maximum volume. So you can have a parallel line to this one, then you can calculate the height. So that is your maximum storage above the washout level, the maximum storage. So when you do that, you can every month you can get 15 more or less 15 cubic meter of rainfall. So when I was searching for this first flush system, so one of our engineers, he did a master's, and so under his master's, he has shown that this is his first flush system implemented. So you have a tap there, we screwed down fitting there to remove the sludge, and there is a rubber ball. So when the water comes, the rubber ball is at the bottom. So when it is lifted up based on once the volume is reached here, then there is a reducer there, fitting, and the ball will closen up the void, and then after the first flush, the water will go to the next tank. So you don't need to run during a rain. The volume is collected, and the volume is 2 to 3% of the roof area. So then you can calculate the volume. So this extended piece, and if you want another flushing system, always you can open up the tap and get rid of this water, and then you are ready to collect during next rainfall the first flush of the next as well, depending on the case. So how I have implemented this first flush system, I did a small renovation at the backside of the roof. So therefore, I use this type of a fitting, and then this is the the first flush volume. So you can see then underneath this one, you have the taper area, and the rubber ball is here. Probably you can see just above the tap. And also in this picture, you can see the pipeline again. And then after the first flush, you get the water collected into this tank. So I have used a steel structure, and this is one of the open cooking area with firewood. I have one outside the house. So there there are some beam structure there. So I have used this steel structure to hold the 1 meter cube water tank. So that is about 1 ton weight. So the next slide. So you can see the second rainwater tank I have implemented. Even this the roof area for the drinking water, one of the drinking water tanks, and this is the rainwater holding one without flush. And my third tank is, you can see it from here. So this is another third tank, and the fourth tank here. And I have this pressure pump located inside this inside this aluminum coated area, right? Below the tank, and the fourth tank is located here. So I have not used the water tank in front of the house. That will create will have impact on the aesthetic appearances. So, and these two tanks, actually 3 tanks are interconnected, and this is connected to the pressure pump. I will show you some pictures. And I have used sizing of the water quality and the filtration method. So you can see I have used a plastic bowl drilled with 6 millimeter holes, and I have used crushed stone as a filter media to get rid of the leaf litter, the debris from the gutters, basically. So you can see it is being collected here, and because of to avoid the deformation of this polyethylene tank, which is exposed for the ultraviolet radiation, I have used another structure there to hold this weight of the media. And this media is washed time to time, at least 3 to 4 months. I am taking this out and wash and reuse the same media. So the water quality, you can see the Sri Lankan standard SLS 614 2013. Part 1, the color, I have used this, our water was analyzed by our R&D division. That was about a long time back. And the color, you can see the limit is 15. Our rainwater is complying all the requirements, turbidity, pH, all this within the limit. So that is fully complied. And this is another first flush system, adopted by some of the presenter in Australian context. And again, there are also the very much similar arrangement has been used, little bit more complicated, and there is a screening arrangement like that. So so I wanted to make rainwater harvesting a user-friendly system. So how I have implemented this with the pressure pump. So you can see this is our local Jinasena pressure pump, and I have also used Gardiner hose reel and high pressure hose material, because when I am using this high pressure pressure pump, the local hoses were burst, experience continuous bursting. So therefore, this one actually can stand up to 28 bars. So that is about 200 meters of water pressure can be, subject to this one. And I am using this one more than now about 5 years. And there is a nozzle with a handle. When you press only, the water will come. And you can see with the pressure application, you can see it's very nice flow distribution, and it's good for the plant. No erosion like that. So, now I have, unlike the previous presenter, he was mentioning about 10 meter cube storage, but my ones all 1 meter cube, 1 meter cube storage. Because my house is not having limited land extent, and underground excavation and having a large storage will be expensive for me. And also I have used as far as possible the gravity potential, and over and above that I can use the pressure pump. So even Kalutara, we have continuous pipe burst still up to now, because we have this asbestos cement coated pipes, which is to be replaced very soon. And so therefore, this is the waterboard drinking water line, the very small half-inch line you can see there. And this is my normal, from the duct well, I have the pumping arrangement. And this pumping arrangement, initially I was using to supplement drinking water whenever there is a water cut. And then I have introduced this T-fitting and all that later on. So I can feed the rainwater tank also. So this, I have a robust system. And this is the pumping the pump enclosure, very simple one, for the duct well, right? So this is my duct well. So I have refurbished this one also. So there I can use, use the water manually as well, but it's a heavy one just for the aesthetic considerations. And I can, my pumping system is connected underneath this, so you can't see it from naked eye. And this is one of my groundwater recharge one. From this roof area, there is a gutter. So this gutter drains directly to the through this. I can show later on underground water recharge. So you can see the front of the house also. I have used a drain field packed with larger material and finer material later on. So you can see the pebble packing there. And also this is the other area. So you can see these are drain fields. So underneath, large material is packed, and on top of that, pebbles are there. So all the rain that is coming from here directly goes to this one. And near the gate also, there is a packed media about 4 inches. So you can easily walk while even at heavy rainy period. And this area, you can see how it is being as another drain field directly, the one of the gutters, and one gutter is located there. And And this is again one of the webinar, one of the Australian presenter. He has explained the urban water demand rises, anticipated rising, and when they are using stormwater runoff to supplement non-potable applications, that has reduced the water demand dramatically. So even our household level, we can do that in the same thing. So my final intention is to have a slow sand filter where I can reduce, I can continuously use rainwater or my groundwater from the duct well, where I don't need any chemicals. So I can use a slow sand filter with probably with granular activated carbon sandwich. So this is the sacrificial sand layer. You need to scrape them once in 3 months. So no chlorination at all. We can remove the coliform by 99.9%, and we can reach up to less than 0.1 NTU. Uh, uh, yeah, with that. So final slide. This is my water bill. There are about six occupants. So you can see my water bill is around 700, fluctuating around 700 rupees. So thank you. That's all my presentation. So this is actually implemented in my house actually. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tanuja, for inviting me
Thank you,
to
Ganesh,
your presentation.
and for this beautiful presentation. No, thank you for promoting rainwater harvesting and also giving great presentation. I think we see a good example of a very water-rich household. So this is how all of us should aim to be. So I think uh, so. Which you are promoting the great King Parang on the chat box. You can use the chat box also. So anybody who like to ask questions immediately from the engineer Mr. Kunatilaka or from the both presenters. Please, floor is yours now.
This question is actually for Jayalal first. My name is Rajendra Arebandu Jayalal. I'm one of the pioneers who started the Rainwater Harvesting Forum with Tanuja and a couple of others. It's really interesting what you have done, right? And in fact, it was not a question really. I mean, I really need to comment on what you have done. It's a wonderful experiment that you have done, and it's very successful. And you're really collecting a huge amount of rain. One thing I wanted to tell you while you were on your presentation was because you were thinking of raising your overhead tank so that you can get more water without because your pressure was less. But I was thinking of a pressure pump, right? Which we at home we use. I'm not using rainwater, unfortunately. Even for normal water supply, board supply water. I mean, we have a pressure pump, which gives you quite a good shower in these new showers. But Danesh, I think, explained it very clearly, right? So, and he's a current NWSDB engineer. I'm sure that you can get information from him. Danesh, I mean, your house is absolutely fantastic, right? I mean, the layout, and I see that you love plants, right? Because everywhere there are plants, and the way you are treating the plants with water, because I do like plants as well. What I want to ask from you is, you didn't touch upon the cost. What's your total cost? Because you have so many, you have tanks and number of gutters and all different fittings and all that. What's your cost like?
Thank you for the question. Yes, cost is for this. Each tank I procured from Anton. They gave me the same rate they are selling to the for the shops. So I got a reduction. On average, it is about 1 cubic meter costed me at that time. I have implemented about 10,000 around that. Each tank. So it is about 4 tanks. It cost me 40,000. So 3 tanks are connected to the pressure pump, the interconnected, and one is a isolated tank. The very first one I have implemented. So then for the hose reel, it costed me a little bit more than 10,000 for this high pressure one. From Hunters, they have this Guardian hose, very reliable, no burst. And I have used additional part with a coupling. They have all these fittings, even the gardening tools. highly good. And then in addition to that, I mean, the gutter system is already there. Only thing I needed some gutters to direct it to the rainwater holding tanks. So that didn't cost very much actually. Anyway, we need to have the gutters because otherwise there will be some erosion taking place right around the house. So therefore, already the gutters were there. So that didn't cost me much actually. So
When did
mainly
you? Yeah.
pressure pump about 33,000. There again, from the Genesena, I bought that pump. They gave me 10% discount. When I explained it to him about the sales manager, that I need to do rainwater housing system, and I am working at National Water Supply and Drainage Board. So he was kind enough to give me a 10% reduction. So it's about 33,000 this pressure pump. And then I have another pump which was using for more than 20 years to supplement the drinking water. So that pump also I have showed you. I mean, enclosure I have showed you. It's a simple Genesena pump. Bought it around 10,000. So that is all the cost. I think 10 years period I am using rainwater, and the last 3 tanks were implemented about 5 years back. I think I have not done a calculation because of my interest. I have done it, but I think definitely the cost has been. I mean, now I mean break-even point has been already passed. I think because of my bill, it could have been very high. It was not to control the bill actually. I mean, I started because of the plants, and later on, one of the, one of the interest is to reduce the water bill also. So basically, I think I have break even the cost already.
No, it's lovely, Danesh, because I mean, what you're saying is it's almost just under 100,000. You have got everything done there.
Yeah,
And with the water bills going up, and it's going to go up some more now. I'm sure you're going to benefit from this experiment of yours. I hope.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing is, I mean, you're at an advantage because you're in Kalkara and you have enough land area
Rainfall.
around. Yeah, rainfall, and also land area where you can put tanks. But many of us who are in Colombo, I mean, the land area is very limited in houses. Anyway, that's another.
In your case, I think the only option is to go for underground. I think then you can have any storage underground, not the polyethylene. I mean, if you need to go for polyethylene, then because of the earth pressure, sometimes when the tank is empty, you get damaged. So you may have to have a retaining wall or something like that in the brick or something. Then you can have the poly HDP or some tank. Otherwise, you have to make a concrete tank or some other material or steel. Then you can have adequate storage there, and then you can have the pumping arrangement for the drinking water. I mean, if your intention is for the drinking water, I think best thing is for you to go for a slow sand filter. Then you don't need to do any chlorination or anything. Just scraping the top centimeter once in 3 years, because the rainwater is a very less turbidity. Slow sand filters do not function if the turbidity is greater than 25 NTU. So then it is ideal, and we can build a small slow sand filter, and in between you can also have a activated carbon sandwich or charcoal, which can remove any unwanted odor or any other things or toxicity if any, depending on your roof material. Mine is DSI tiles, clay tiles, but if somebody is using a different roof material, this will serve the cooking and drinking part. Other things you can directly use the rainwater. That is my view, actually.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Danesh, and thanks, Jayalav.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Danesh and both Mr. Vijayasekara, we have participants from other countries also who have joined us today. So, from Nepal, from India, yeah. So, anybody else who wants to ask either of the presenters any questions? Okay, so in that case, looks like there's no more questions. So we'll thank both the presenters. So I hope some of you got encouraged to practice rainwater harvesting in your own homes.
Dr. Tanuja, this is me, Dhanushi.
Yeah.
I also have a tank, which was like, we had an empty tank, empty PV tank. When I started working here, so I thought I might as well use it at least for gardening purposes. And I couldn't have like the first flush, or I couldn't attempt to have a filter or anything because it was used only for gardening at the moment. During this, if you remember, there was a water cut, sudden disruption the last week, and there was no way where there was no water in the overhead tanks. Also, like halfway the tanks became empty. So what helped in our house like till evening was the water in the rainwater tank, and I only used at the tap. I just used a cloth to filter the water. It was still without all those filtrations. It was still good to have a wash and to clean for washing, all that.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I am also a rainwater user. In fact, when you were talking about the underground tank, I have two fume pipe tanks. Those are concrete rings like tanks buried underneath my car park. Capacity is about 7.5 cubic meters. And all the water, except for the drinking, bathing, toilet flushing, all is taken from my rainwater harvesting tank. So for the last 10 years, I've been using the rainwater. So since I'm promoting, I thought I'll have to have a rainwater harvest system in my house. So yes, so I think I hope we have through presenters had interest others also to adopt rainwater harvesting. It at hand water cut, or you have ready supply of water at your home. So I hope we'll adopt it at least not only to reduce the water bill, reduce the flooding in their area, and also to use it as a emergency water use. Thank you both, both Mr. Jala Vijayasekara as well as Engineer Danesh Kunatilaka. And thank you everybody also for joining us this evening. Let's hope, please give us more interesting topics we should give you on the rain talks, which we'll have regularly. Please share with with us your experience. So joining us today, and good evening to all of you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Dr. Tanuja. Bye.